Hi, I'm Adam. This is Mr. Ernst. Nice to meet you. We're here today to talk to you about his football career. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Central Lake, Michigan. It's a small town about half an hour north of Traverse City, right on Lake Michigan and right by Torch Lake. So it's a lot different than here.
When did you start playing sports and what made you decide to play?
I started playing sports real early, I guess. Even before kindergarten, I was a manager for my dad's slow pitch or fast pitch softball team, and I can remember shagging fly balls and doing that kind of stuff with him. And then I think the first organized sport I ever played was soccer when I was first grader or so.
Who was your high school team?
My high school team was Central Lake. We were the Trojans, and I played football, basketball, and baseball in high school. I played quarterback for the football team, played a wing in basketball, and I caught for all 4 years of baseball.
Did you have the opportunity to play sports in college?
I did. I played college football and baseball for Alma College, just a small private college, Division III, just about, half hour or 45 minutes away from here. And it was some of the best experiences of my life. So.
How would you say this shaped your coaching career?
I think it shaped my coaching career in that I really developed a love for football more than anything else. In high school, my favorite sport was always baseball, and it wasn't until I got to college and really got to know the game of football even more. I really kind of figured things out that I wanted that to continue to be part of my future.
Who or what inspired you to become a coach?
Great coaches inspire people to be coaches. I had great college football coaches, and then once I did decide that I wanted to go into teaching and coaching as well, I had a chance to do my student teaching at Ithaca High School with Hall of Fame coach Jim Ahern, and he just really showed me how great coaching high school football can be.
Describe the choice you made to take the coaching job in Florida.
After spending a year at Ithaca, I was offered the head coaching job up in East Jordan, which is real close to my hometown, and I spent 3 years being the head football coach at East Jordan. And in that time, Jim Ahern had left Ithaca and went down to Florida to start a brand new high school from the ground up. And every one of those years, he had called me and asked me if I would want to come down there. And finally, after the third year, I was still single. I knew I would have a teaching job down there, and I knew I would be able to coach the best athletes in the country. So I had grown up in a small town, went to a small college, was now teaching and coaching at a small town again, and I just thought, while I'm young, this is a great time to go experience something different, to see if I want to be in a small town the rest of my life or if I want to be in a big city.
Tell me about some of the joys and hardships you experienced while coaching in Florida.
We always used to joke that we could write a book about the stuff that we had. We were in a very, very poor area. We had a high school of 1,800 kids, and probably only 50 of those kids drove a car to school because they didn't have money. I can't tell you how many pairs of track spikes I bought for kids or football cleats for kids. We had a couple of different kids that were offered Division I scholarships that ended up losing their scholarships because they were arrested for robbing places to pay for their parents' house power because the power had been shut off. But once you showed those kids that you cared about them and that you wanted them to succeed, they loved you unconditionally.
How did you hear about the athletic director job in Fowler?
After 5 years in Florida, or 4.5 years, I guess, I had what I wanted. I experienced it and realized that I wanted to be back a part of a small town, and I had began looking for jobs back in Michigan in a small community. And Jim Ahern, the guy that I went down there to coach with, actually is very good friends with Coach Spicer before he passed away, and his brother, Coach Bear's father. And they were actually at church together one day because Jim Ahern comes up here, and now he's the coach at Lansing Catholic Central. But they were at church together, and Coach Bear's dad told them that this job was open, and if he knew anybody that might be interested, and so he gave me a call.
Are you happy with your decision to move to Fowler?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I talk to a lot of people about this community, and you know, I'm constantly saying how lucky I am to have the job that I do, and for us all to have the type of families and the type of students that we have. You know, I've been to 4 or 5 different high schools in different cities and towns where some people haven't, and I know what it's like in different areas, and I think when you've been to those different places, you can really realize how lucky and how great it is in Fowler.
Tell us about the thoughts you had about becoming head coach.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting turn of events. You know, obviously, this is a pretty tight-knit community, and you know, you're always going to have those voices that don't want to support an outsider taking control of the program. And I was aware of that, but I thought I worked hard to become part of the community and show people what I was about, and I knew that I had the experience to do it. But there's a Fowler way, you know, and things that have been very successful in Fowler for years, and so I didn't want to change that, and I was glad to have those 2 or 3 years where I could kind of assimilate into the way Fowler does things, and so on and so forth.
What are some of the joys and hardships you experienced while coaching here?
You know, I think the joys is being a part of such a great tradition. You know, it's I've been places where kids don't walk out of the locker room expecting to win, and here we do. You know, and that's a result of a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of years of being a very good football team. And I think that one of my jobs is to develop and continue that pride and those kind of beliefs. I really enjoy that part of it, and how hard our kids will work for that success. They don't take it for granted. But because they care so much, losses are tough, you know, and they should be. But you know, seeing the looks in the faces of kids, you know, when they lose their last game of those seniors, saying goodbye to those seniors is always the hardest thing. Yeah.
Through the years, have there been any players who have really affected you?
Yeah, I think the player that's probably affected me the most was a kid that I coached in Florida. His mom had died of cancer, and his dad was never around. And so he went to live with his aunt, and that brought him to our school. And he was a black kid with long dreads and gold grills, and but he was an honors student, and he was in my honors history class. He worked hard in the classroom, and he worked hard on the field, and he had such a horrible life outside of school and outside of football, but he was able to get an athletic scholarship to play football at Walsh University in Ohio, and he plays DB there.
Some people say there's a bond between a coach and his players. Would you say this bond exists?
Yeah, I really do. I think you know, there's the coaches that want to be fire and brimstone and not have a personal relationship with their players at all. And I think there's a place for that. And obviously, there's been coaches that have been successful that way. But you know, one of the reasons that I went into teaching was that I believe in that mentor relationship, and the relationship that you can develop with young adults and
All right, thank you for your time, Mr. Ernst.
no problem. Thanks a lot.